Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. Happy Thursday, my dudes and my dudettes. You're now home with Dodgers Nation and Jim Beam. Please drink responsibly. My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram. That guy is Doug McCain, DMac_LA on the Twitter, on the Instagram. In your bedroom if you want it. Not really. That's not an option.
Whoa there, buddy.
Doug, how you doing, my guy? What's going on, Chief?
I'm excited. I'm getting big postseason vibes. We got the biggest series of the year for Major League Baseball. The two best teams in the sport are facing off. It is going to be a big night at Dodger Stadium. I've got goosebumps. I got chills. I mean, got the MVP race could be on the line. The balance of the NL is on the line too. So lots to play for tonight.
Yeah, so we have our Dodgers Braves mega series preview with your boys. Gonna lock it down. We got to talk about what's gone on in the for the Dodgers the last couple of days. Of course, they do a sweep. What do we learn from sweeping the Snakes and all that kind of stuff? The Angels sold off, and the Dodgers, were they in the hunt for any of those guys? We'll talk more about that. No, they're not. Plus more, we got other things, September call-ups, all that kind of fun. So, these shows goes, things kind of happen. Before we get into it, I got to remind you, I got to beg you, please. I'm not going to beg you, but I'm going to ask you that if you would like to win a Mookie Betts jersey, we're giving one away when we hit 70,000 subscribers. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, go subscribe. It doesn't hurt you. Like, literally, we do not bite. Just subscribe, get us a 70K, and we're going to give some lucky random subscriber that jersey. And then after that, who knows what comes up next? We might give you Doug when we hit 75,000 subscribers. I don't know if that's a thing we can do. I think that might be human trafficking. I'm not sure, so I'm not going to do that after all, but we are going to talk about your Dodgers. By the way, jump into the comments. We got DJ producer Noel on the board today. We got to talk about that Dodgers sweep. They take down the Snakes. They look pretty good doing it, as you'd expect. Kershaw gets through 5 innings after his delayed start or whatever it is, or the rain delay where he kind of gets screwed over. We saw some Pepio in your Stepio. You saw a little bit of Ryan Yarbrough. What did you learn from that series, Doug?
The number thing I take away, as you mentioned right at the end, is Ryan Pepio. He looks like the real deal. He looks like a guy that's earning a spot in the postseason mix in some capacity. I think the way you look at him out there on the mound, a 1.29 ERA in 14 innings of work, 14 strikeouts and 2 walks. That's the most impressive thing to me. That is what opens my eyes the widest, is that he has a 3.8 walk rate. I mean, that is something that he struggled with in his cup of coffee last year when he made his debut, is he just did not command the fastball well enough. Also, the way he's using that slider. Last year, they were beating up on that slider. Opponents were hitting 300 off that slide piece. This year, it's been a very successful pitch. But that changeup, like I said when we talked to him in the first place, that changeup is nastier than a gas station bathroom. And he's showing that. And it's for real this time. I really mean that. If you look at that changeup, he threw it 31 times. He generated 18 swings on it. 9 were whiffs and were called strikes at 29% for the game. The D-backs were 1 for 9 on that changeup. So, one, you're looking at a pitch that is a potentially elite pitch. You combine that with fastball command and a slider to keep opponents off balance. I think this is a guy that is going to be a factor for this Dodgers bullpen, or maybe a piggyback situation. So very impressed with Ryan Pepio so far. Kind of want to see him do it against some better competition and continue to face offenses that are going to be able to game plan for him. But yeah, very impressed. Like you said, a lot of Pepio in his Stepio of late. I'm really, really excited for the guy. Could not be more happy.
Yeah, he got a fine reward. He immediately gets optioned back down to AAA. Yeah. The Dodgers welcome back Shelby Miller. That's a massive addition to this bullpen, by the way, because they've been without Shelby for the greater part of the last, 3 months? 3 months, I think it is. And when you're able to have a Shelby Miller instead of a Brian Hudson, or a Shelby Miller instead of a Tyler Miller, you're in a better spot as a bullpen with the postseason coming up. So you're in a good spot there. You're feeling the health start to kind of creep up in a good way as you get towards October.
Yeah, for Shelby Miller, I think the hope is that he comes back fresh and ready to go. That neck injury, it was a little weird. He said he was feeling numb at times, and the good thing, it's not like it was something to his arm, right? So I think if he comes in and you plug him back in, he's up to speed, and he can help this team in the postseason. I think that you're going to have a little bit of a competition when you look at that bullpen and guys who are going to produce. So Shelby Miller is someone who has had success this season. I wouldn't say he's a lock 100% based on how he finishes the year, but I still think he's going to have to show out and prove something for me over the last month of the season to really say, okay, he's a guy I trust to give the ball, because let's not forget, this was a reclamation project. This was one of your buy low type candidates that you wanted to fix, and so far so good. They definitely have gotten some good production from him, but it's not like he's reached those Evan Phillips-like levels where he's guaranteed a spot.
Yeah, you don't expect him to pitch in the 8th inning, the 9th inning. He's that guy who you want to see in a ball game. Again, over your Brian Hudson types. If you needed guy in the 5th inning to put out a fire, maybe you throw to him, or you need some filler innings in the 6th or 7th or whatever it is. He's that guy, and I think that's a huge part, or a huge piece in this bullpen. And we've seen this team have lesser of those back end, or really, I guess you can call them front end, the middle reliever guys. Yeah. They haven't had the strongest showing from those type of dudes in the past. Do they have just that little bit of higher pedigree? Shelby Miller's been through a lot in his career as well, so you're in a good spot with that addition coming along with Brusdar, Phillips. Ryan Brazier has been exceptional since coming here, another reclamation project. So it's a good time for this guy to come back. And hey, at some point Joe Kelly will be in there, and he's going to be right at the top of the pack when it comes to big innings in October. Another guy, we talked a little bit about him on Monday, if memory serves me correct. I don't know. Time has no meaning. Max Muncy, he's continuing a tear. He's had himself a hell of a series, batting over 200 now. You have to feel pretty good about Mad Max.
Absolutely, and the same thing goes for him. And yes, he has had a bounce back here. We've already talked about that. But for me, the most important thing now is, do you have that positive momentum heading into the postseason? Have him feeling good at the plate. And I think for him, it's hitting to all fields. You saw the curveball, he hit those outside of the zone, going to left field, using all fields, and he's one of the most dangerous hitters in the game. I know he takes a bad rap. For some reason, Max Muncy is one of the most underappreciated, disrespected Dodgers, because people are saying, batting average this, batting average that. He's hitting 208. He can't be good. Look, he has a 124 weighted runs created plus, and he has 31 home runs. You know how many teams would want that kind of production? There's 29 other teams in Major League Baseball that will be lining up around the block to get Max Muncy's services. Like I always say, he is one of the glue guys. He takes this offense to a whole nother level. He raises their ceiling. So could not be happier for the guy just from a personal level based on what he's been through. And the reality is, when Max Muncy is healthy, you're pretty much guaranteed 30-plus home runs and someone who's going to be dangerous. He's had a lot of postseason success, and it's good to see him have 8 straight games with an extra base hit. So the slug is up. You know what I always say? If you want the dub, you got to slug.
He's going to do it. He did it.
No, but if you want the dub, you got to what? Got to mitigate the slug.
You got to mitigate the slug, and that one was actually for Julio on Monday. Let's get into a few of the comments first before we move on to the Angels stuff. You got your comments open over there, my guy? All right, unmute yourself and let's.
What's going on, guys?
Let's hear from the legend. Then we come Young Lotto.
Young Lotto,
one of your fine hosts of the Lakers 24/8 podcast. Yeah, you sound
All
beautiful, man.
First off, Craig Osterberg, a returner, a friend of the show. He said tomorrow is September. Who do you think they should be called up?
Do we want to blow our load there? Because we're going to talk about that to end the show. But Craig, we'll get back to you. So you're going to have to stay here for the entire show.
Colton Wong, no.
Mr. Zach came in and said a strong chance that the Dodgers can come within a couple games or tie the Braves this weekend for the best record in the NL and in all of the MLB. Anthony Cortez also said this 4-game series is going to be a sneak peek of what to expect in the NLCS. Air822 said, what up, D-Mac, a.k.a. Will Smith, out of uni. Let's go, Dodgers. Boom.
You know, I will say, surprisingly, this Will Smith is funnier than the original.
Yeah,
just saying.
Hey,
just saying.
That commercial was pretty good though.
That was solid, but that was mostly the writing of our boy promoted producer Eric.
Yeah, look, hey, there's nothing funny about facing Will Smith at the plate. I'll tell you that much. He's one of the better hitting catchers in the league.
But you faced him.
I'm always extra nice the day before I go to the stadium as a press guy.
I've never seen Doug and Will Smith in the same building.
Right?
Personally.
No one's ever seen that. Well, no, it is a picture of us during during spring training.
This is fair. I was there.
But yeah, we got it'll be very interesting to see what they do with September calls, and we'll get into that because look, I mean, the reality is it's not too big of a decision, but
it's
we'll
two spots, and they're not really going to make that much of a difference in the when it comes to the postseason grand scheme of things. Couple more comments. You got anything else?
I want to answer this. Is Matthew Farrell says, what do you think of the Lakers nights? I think they're great. I think they're fantastic. I think they look incredible. I also think that you don't need to have the ticket packages for all this kind of stuff. I mean, this is an organization that makes almost $600 million in revenue. You sell that plays out every single night. Maybe we just do the giveaways like we used to see where you didn't have to sign up for ticket packages. I mean, Kobe Bryant is a legend. We want to celebrate him, and I think it'd be nice to see, hey, you don't have to get that ticket package, even for the other stuff. And maybe that's just me being a cheapo and just want to show up and get the merch, but I don't think it would hurt them to just give it away normally, right?
I'm just saying, I'm not going to answer that because Lon Rosen's going to come after you, not me. Hey, I think you guys are doing great. No, I agree. I mean, the idea.
For Kobe, though, I don't know. For
the idea, I think, started out fun of like the specialized tickets, and I'm pretty sure it's still your same water from yesterday, so you're doing a bang up job. Listen. There's never going to be a drought that's caused by Doug McCain. I'll tell you that.
Hey, Clint, real quick, I think this comment is for you.
Yes.
Chico Dopeness said, will the Padres do the same as the Angels waiver wire?
No, because it's already too late. They should have. Honestly, they have nobody they could have sold off. They really don't.
I thought I was surprised. I mean, after I did a video right when it happened, I said that Preller was just going to copy and paste what the Angels did at the trade deadline. Just say, I'll take all these guys and try to act like I have a chance to be a contender. But yeah, thankfully for the Padres, they didn't do much.
Yeah, the only thing they could have done is, I mean, you don't send Hader away, you don't send Snell away for free because you can get draft picks for them after this season, and that's better than the literal nothing that the Angels got. So you ready to talk Angels? Let's talk about that real quick. Thank you, Noel. We'll listen to more of Young Lotto in a
Young
bit
Lotto,
here. But yeah, the
YL
Angels
in
sold
the
off.
easy.
What they gave away 5 of the 6 players. I kind of feel bad for Randall Grichuk. He's just like, ain't nobody want me, man.
He's the last guy in the kickball, and no one even picks him. Yeah,
that's pretty rough there. But Halos, they traded. They went in pretty hard in the paint for them at the trade deadline. 1 month later, those prospects aren't coming back, and all they did was cut salary. Yeah, the salary will keep them under the luxury tax threshold. But this isn't Halos Today podcast. This is Blue Heaven. So the Dodgers didn't get any of the claims. The Guardians were snatching up everybody's waiver wire type guys. Did you want any of those players?
I mean, I think that's how it relates to the Dodgers, is that they did end up on the Guardians, and you thought maybe does Giolito go to the Reds? Does Moore go to the Giants or someone like that? I think Matt Moore did make some sense when you consider the Dodgers could use a left-handed reliever, but bring my facts to the fight. If you look at some of his numbers, he hasn't fared well against lefties. I mean, they have an 827 OPS against lefties, but he still has been a really solid reliever over the last 2 years. They would have definitely been happy if he fell into their lap. But yeah, I do think that this is bad for baseball. This is terrible for Major League Baseball. I said it after it happened that, hey, we need to have the Moreno mandate, the Moreno rule, where you cannot just do that. Like I was saying after, it felt like a bitter fantasy football owner that just trades off all of his people. He's just being a brat, wants to trade his players and ruin the league.
Speaking from the heart right there.
Speaking from the heart, yeah. And look, I'm not going to be a guy that, and look, everyone, and let's rewind to the trade deadline, to when they got Giolito in late July. Everyone was saying, oh, the Angels, I love what the Angels are doing. They're going all in. This is great. I'm not going to be one of those I told you so guys. No one likes the I told you so guy. But on the episode on July 27th at the 9:56 mark, I said,
I feel like this is for Noah.
That
you're specifically talking to Noah right now.
Investing in the Angels like investing in the Titanic after it hit the iceberg, right? You just could not do that. And when you look at this team, the damage was done. There was nothing they could do to really fix this team at that point. And I think what I really hate about it, Clint, is the fact that you're allowing teams out there that aren't the better teams, not the Braves, not the Dodgers, but the teams on the fringes, the wild card teams. And what do we see every year in the postseason? Those are the teams that get hot and do damage and knock off teams like the Dodgers just because of the nature of Major League's postseason, right? So you're able to get these players at 1/6 of their cost. It's like you're getting a little freebie there, right? So we can't allow teams like the Angels to just press Control-Alt-Delete when it's saying not responding, trade all these pieces off, and allow teams to get better towards the deadline. I just don't like it. I think that they need to have a rule in place to try to fix this because, look, the Angels, we know that they are a joke. To me, the Angels are essentially the San Diego Padres with a World Series and a rally monkey. That's all they are, right? They're essentially the same exact franchise, and I think what they did was bad for baseball, and I think that the league needs to do something about it.
Well, all right, so I'll give them the slight benefit of the doubt of going in at the deadline. Like you're saying, investing in the Titanic after the iceberg. In my opinion, I could see them trying to do that because that's the price to pay to show Shohei you mean business. Like, look, we do want to invest in this team. I don't think they expected everybody to keep falling apart. I don't think they expected their rookie first baseman or no, it wasn't him. Another rookie, Trey Cabbage, to yeet a baseball into the back of one of their star rookie pitchers' heads and put him on the concussion IL.
Yeah,
I don't think they expected Mike Trout to come back for one game. I think they did expect their rookie shortstop Zach Neto, who is honestly the glue of that team, to come back and be healthy, but he only played for a little bit. And I don't think anybody ever expects anything out of Anthony Rendon anymore. That Hollywood Hollywood housewife style, whatever they call it.
But that just shows you how inept that organization is. I mean, they're a team that last year, what they should have done, they should have packaged that deal with Anthony Rendon and Shohei Ohtani to a team like the Dodgers. I could have seen the Dodgers taking Rendon and Shohei and give them picks or give them draft capital and give them players that are high prospects, high-level prospects. They could have done exactly that. And I think that the Dodgers would have strongly considered doing that. But look, I just think for the league as a whole, you look at where the Angels were as far as their CBT, they were close enough where, yes, it did make sense to trade these players, to put them on waivers.
And now they're going to be under.
Now they're going to be under, but still, I think for the
more
betterment of the league,
money, maybe. Yeah, it looks bad. I mean, as a free agent, I'm looking at that, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to go there. And you don't know if Shohei wants to go back, even if he's going back
nail
as just
in the
a hitter.
coffin. You're not a destination organization for doing things like that.
Yeah, it's still so bad. And honestly, to button this up and make it about the Dodgers, I'm glad the Dodgers didn't get any of those guys. It's like, yeah, Giolito would have been cool, but that would have been cool a month ago. I'm happy with Lance Lynn. I'm happy with what we're seeing out of Ryan Pepio.
It should put Ohtani on waivers, and that would have been fun.
A little too late now.
Yeah.
Do it after the fact.
Yeah.
After do it on September 2nd, where he's not postseason eligible.
I just hate it. I mean, those guys got to play games too, knowing that they're going to be gone. I mean, just the whole situation is just terrible.
Baseball be weird like that. So let's move on. Doug, this is the most important series of all time. Or not. It might just be the Braves and the Dodgers in the regular season. Let's talk about it. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
This is a massive series, and you cannot emphasize enough. It cannot be overstated. This is the Avengers Age of Ultron when Hulk is going up against Iron Man right there in the Hulkbuster suit. You got the most unstoppable forces in Major League Baseball. You got Hulk's strength versus Tony's intellect. The Dodgers, I think, are Tony in that situation. I think the Braves, with the way they can slug, are Hulk. And I think when you look at this series, it's not just that they're the two best teams in the sport. It's not that they're the two teams that are on a collision course to meet in the NLCS. We saw what happened in 2018. We saw what happened in 2020. We saw what happened in 2022. This is the class of the National League. This is the two teams that are going to be competing, I think, for the World Series. And I think that there's no doubt in my mind that these two teams will face off, and whoever wins that series will go on to win the World Series. So now, as far as them competing in this series, if the Dodgers get swept, if the Braves sweep the Dodgers or the Dodgers sweep the Braves, I don't think it has any bearing if these two teams meet again in the NLCS or anything like that. But I think the storylines are very interesting because, one, Clint, these two teams are red hot heading into this series. The Dodgers, 24-4 in the month of August. You got one game to play tonight. The Braves, they're 20-8 in the month of August. The Dodgers haven't lost a series since July. They won 9 straight series. The Braves, they won 6 series. I mean, they're coming off another series win. So I think these two teams are going to use this as a way to really measure where they're at right now. But also, we'll talk about some of the other storylines. Just heading into it, I think it's great for baseball to have these two teams facing off. I do think it should be nationally televised, though, and that's something that's very disappointing.
That is kind of shocking. I mean, I guess you are going to see so much of these two teams, knock on desk here. You're going to see a lot of these teams facing off in the league championship series. So national baseball fans will get their fill then. But you'd be, you would have assumed a Fox game. You would have assumed an ESPN game. You do have, I think, MLB Network is carrying it tonight, but like, who has MLB Network anymore? They kind of changed all of those kind of packages.
I got to my pad.
All right, we're all going to Doug's house.
Channel 306.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun. Media is definitely going to run this a lot more into the ground. If somebody sweeps, it's going to be the biggest thing that D-Rose is going to be talking about on Monday morning next week, whatever it may be. Are we dying? I think we might be dying. We might not. Buddy's on the case, but yeah, let's. I know we got something important. This is a perfect time to break for
some very, very good news over here. Shout out Mr. Grump for a super chat. Doug, damn.
I think there's a different music now, but we can't hear it. So we'll fix that eventually.
But yes, we do have a super chat. Shout out Grump. He gave us $2, and he said this series will decide who the MVP will be.
That's a good point. We were to talk about that as well very, very shortly. But
yeah, no. So let's segue into that. So really, you look at this series, one of the big storylines. I think the first one, like we said, is we'll touch the MVP. But first, before we get to that, I think the number one storyline, the thing that's really riding on this series, what's really in the balance, is who gets home field advantage throughout the postseason. If you look at where the Dodgers sit right now, 83-49. They're 4 games back of the Braves at 87-45. You got 30 games to play. And I see a lot of people out there saying, okay, who needs home field advantage? You saw what happened to the Dodgers last year. They won 111 games. They had home field advantage. And what happened, right? I look at the home record. Dodgers 46-21 at home this year. That's a plus 25 on the road. They're 37-28. That's plus 9. I still think if the opportunity presents itself to go out there and finish with the best record, you do that. But the subplot there is, do you try to jockey for position to avoid the Phillies, who in a shortened series, you got Nola, you got Wheeler, you got Bryce Harper, you got that team that had all the success last year getting as far as they did, and you try to avoid them, and they would be theoretically in that matchup with the Cubs, and then the other flip side would be the Dodgers going up against either the Brewers or the Giants. Me, I don't know about you. I don't want to face that Brewers rotation in the shortened series with Peralta, with Woodruff, and Corbin Burns, and that offense that I think is stacked. And I don't want to face the Giants, too, because I love looking at Giants fans saying the one time we've met in the postseason, we beat you in your house. So for me, I still think that having something to play for to avoid that complacency late in the year, I think it's still big.
Yeah, no, for sure. The Dodgers, we know they're going to be playing. They want to be. I don't even know if you would say they want to be the number 1 seed. They just don't want to actively lose any baseball games. So they're going to keep trying to win. And if they end up getting that number 1 seed, it'll be ho hum. It's another 100-win season for the Dodgers or whatever it may be, in a season nobody really anticipated to be as good as it's turned out. But I mean, if you're at that point where you're trying to somehow decide who you're going to face, I think you're trying a little too hard. You should have that feeling, and I like this team having that feeling of, we don't care, give us your best, we're going to beat them. I do, if anything, I don't know if I worry about the Giants, but that's the series, much like the Padres last year, that's the series that could just carry a little more weight, and maybe there's that potential for the rug being pulled out from under the Dodgers or whatever. We know which team is better, but it's not always about which team is better. It's about which team is hotter and which team kind of wants it more or is playing better to win that series in that moment. So
yeah,
I don't care who they play. Just get there and hell, go win 100 games while you're at it. I do like home field advantage to the postseason, though, because we know how much better they play at home.
They play better at home. You got the best crowd. You got the home road splits with Julio Urias. You got Clayton Kershaw keeping the ball in the yard. I think
Miller's better at
Bobby
home,
Miller's better. Well,
yeah.
Bobby Miller's had some good starts on the road, but I just think in general, you want to control your own destiny. I think that's just not the way to look at it. I mean, you don't want to say, okay, we want to duck a team here. No, you want to play your best baseball, and that's why this team has been so successful throughout the years. This team is process-oriented. They're not results-oriented, right? They're going to go out there every single day and go through all their routines to try to give themselves the best chance to win a baseball game. They're the most cliched organization when it comes down to, we were going to go out and win a baseball game today. They're going to do that, right? They're not going to push guys and try to force guys to play out there. They're going to try to keep guys fresh. They're going to 100% do that. But this whole idea that, oh, you don't want to play the Phillies? Come on, this is Major League Baseball, okay? Every team at that level is going to give you competition, especially in big league League postseason. So, look, I always say, don't fear the competition, make the competition fear you. The Dodgers can't be scared of anyone. So bring it on, whoever it is. If you can't beat a team in that first round, then you're not going to win the World Series anyway. We know that's the standard. So I'm not worried about that. I think that this team still needs to try to win every single game they can, and also send a message to that Braves team, because that Braves team, they've been the darling throughout the sport, right? They're the team that is really running away with the best record for a while, and then the Dodgers really got hot. But, Clint, the next big storyline, and someone mentioned in the comments a few minutes ago, I forgot his name, but shout out to him, is the MVP. I mean, that really, the most tangible item that I think can come from this is who's going to win the MVP between Mookie Betts and Ronald Acuna Jr. And we've talked about it ad nauseum on this show, but got some fresh takes on it. Because, I mean, I think you look at Ronald Acuna Jr., this is no slight on him. He's a fantastic player. This is someone that is an elite player, and it's great to see him doing what he's doing after the injury that he suffered. But this Dodgers team, would not be where they are without Mookie Betts. I don't think the same can be said about the Atlanta Braves. If you look at Mookie, he leads the National League in OPS, slugging percentage, weighted runs created plus, both versions of WAR, 7.6 on Fangraphs and Baseball Reference. And you also look at the fact that Mookie played 61 games in the infield, right? And by doing that, yes, those WAR numbers are slightly inflated, but also by doing that, you allowed Hayward to play in right field and thrive. So that to me is what an MVP player does. Where on the flip side, you got seven players on the Atlanta Braves that have at least 20 home runs.
Yeah.
Okay, that offense is so stacked. To be the first team to slug 500. I think that Mookie's more valuable, and I think it'll be very interesting to see how those two players perform with all these eyeballs on them, knowing the MVP race is in the balance.
Yeah, I mean, we know all of these players, save for Matt Olson, have been on the biggest stage and against each other a lot of the times. Mookie's been there, done that. Freddie's been there, done that. And Acuna has been there, done that, and done it against the Dodgers in the past. What I like about this MVP race is that everybody has something about them. Like, yeah, Freddie could be the first guy to have 60 doubles in a season since 1930 some odd or whatever it is. You know, Mookie could be the second guy ever to win an MVP in both leagues. Acuna is going to be the first 60-30 guy. You have also Matt Olson. That's all I really got. He's hitting the ball far, often.
Yeah, and look, the reality
he leads
is
the league in RBI,
and that's another great subplot to the series. That you have the four best players in the National League.
These are the four
competing in this series.
You're looking
for the two
at
best
1, 2,
teams.
3, 4.
Yeah,
whatever the order ends up being. You assume it's going to be, it's going to be a Dodger, it's going to go Dodger Brave, or whatever. It's going to be in that order. But it's interesting. How does Mookie secure the MVP in this series?
I mean, I think he continues on that hot streak. I mean, in August, my man's slashing 454, 512, and 796. I mean, this guy is on an absolute all-time heater. And you look at his competition, right? Ronald Acuna Jr., he's played well. And the thing about Acuna Jr., he has not slumped. He has not gotten to one slump this season. So he's gone wire to wire, and he's been very consistent. But
he was on fire, and then he just regressed to a very, very good player.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the thing is that it's trying to shape the narrative. I mean, look at R.A. Dickey taking a Cy Young away from Clayton Kershaw. Why did that happen? The knuckleball,
And
right?
20 wins.
And 20 wins, but let's just be honest. I mean, the last of the knuckleballers, right? And that was what kind of shaped that narrative. And Acuna Jr., it's about the stolen bases. And yes, being the first 60-30 guy, he really is probably going to be the first 70-30 guy when it's all said and done, which is going to be a remarkable accomplishment. But if this was last year, would he be doing that? Or did they put in rules in place with the pizza box bases and the engagement rules that allowed him to steal more bases? I mean, I'm not trying to discredit him, but I mean, you're using the one major rule change offensively to your advantage. I mean, look, I look like Ricky Henderson out there with these new rules. I mean, Freddie Freeman, look at him leading the team in stolen bases. I'm not saying fair. It's not a part of the game,
they're gaining 3 inches, which everybody loves.
And also, too, like, as a base runner, too,
more bags.
He's gotten stolen. He's gotten thrown out a good amount of time. And also, he's not the best base runner going to go to first to third or things like that. And look, did Billy Hamilton win an MVP? I mean, come on now. I mean, do you look at the person that usually is, and he is the leader in runs scored, but that typically isn't always the case. Is the stolen base leaders are typically not the guys that are at the top when it's about scoring runs. And I always say you can't steal first base. Mookie gets on, he slugs, and I just think too, just forget the numbers, just forget the eye test MVP. Yeah. Mookie has that energy, that charisma, that infectious spirit that I think has brought the most out of this Los Angeles Dodgers team. Whereas I think this Braves team would still be winning the NL East even if Ronald Acuna Jr. wasn't on that team. You have Olsen, you have Riley. I mean, that team is so stacked. So look, I just think to answer your question though, what does Mookie need to do? I think a big moment would be big, whether it be a diving catch, a big play, a walk-off shot, something like that, I think could allow him to continue to build this separation.
One thing that Mookie definitely has that helps, and Noel, we're going to throw to you in some comments. So I know we got something special locked in there. Mookie has not only been the most valuable player for the Dodgers, he's been the most needed player for the Dodgers because he did save the team through a time of injury and all, and strife and playing shortstop, playing second base, playing, as they say on the TV, Gold Glove caliber defense at all of those positions, despite not playing the infield in 10 years or whatever it is. So that helps him a lot. Him going off in Boston last weekend, I feel, is what won him and what will win him the MVP this year. Unless the only time anything can change is in this series, and that's my take on it. I'm often wrong, not always, but I'm often wrong sometimes. But that's what I feel. It's going to be Mookie. He's going to get that. He's going to get that MVP.
Some more big MVP moments. I could absolutely see that. And look, Acuna Jr., like I said,
what's Acuna going to do? Steal base?
Yeah, steal some bases. Look,
Mookie has stolen tacos for America. All right, you know what? I haven't done it in a while. I'm going to throw my pen, I'm going to grab the same exact one right out of there. This one's colder.
Go off, King.
He built that in a cave.
Tony Stark
built
those tacos in a cave out of a box of scraps.
Speaking of tacos,
the tie thing.
Yeah, just throwing it back.
You gotta love the dude. What do you got for me?
Speaking of tacos, I think $2 could probably get us something.
Let's go,
Michael, for that super
chat. Let's go. I can't
just always. You gotta always feel the boogie.
Hey, let's get the song on the dance.
Hey! You always gotta feel the boogie in your soul, man.
Always. But shout out Michael. He asked, "What are the odds the bench is clear this series?"
I'd say it's minimal. I mean,
I don't see
a lot of respect on both sides. I don't see that.
There's no bad blood in this matchup. It's been very well played, through the postseason.
Yeah,
maybe like the only guy I think anybody would have any beef with is Charlie Morton.
I was about to say Charlie Morton,
dirty cheater.
Anything can happen. I think there'll be high tension where if some guy gets hit. But yeah, I don't think that's really a storyline here.
I don't anticipate.
These are two competitive teams. A lot of respect between these two organizations. Really, this rivalry runs deep. We look at what happened in 1991. With them taking the division way back then. I mean, it goes all the way back to the Dodgers going up against the Milwaukee Braves when they got their first World Series in Los Angeles. So this really runs deep in the postseason in 1996. So, yeah, I mean, lots of history between these two. And you also bring up Freddie Freeman. Now, Freddie Freeman shouldn't get lost in this shuffle because Freddie Freeman, if he has a big weekend, they're going to tie that narrative to Freddie versus the Braves, and he could emerge from this weekend as the MVP favorite against his own teammates. So it's definitely possible. And Freddie, he leads all Major League Baseball in hits, 178 hits, tied with Ronald Acuna Jr., leads him with doubles, 51 doubles. He's on pace for 63 doubles. And like you said earlier, he's going to be the first guy to hit 60 doubles in a season since 1936. So that's an incredible feat. And he's also had a lot of success against the Braves since he signed with the Dodgers. So that's going to be very interesting. Olsen, he's kind of gone on a little slump lately. He leads the National League with 43 home runs, 112 RBIs. He's on pace for 53 long balls this season. He also hit up that bomb against the Dodgers back on May 24th. So that's going to be a very interesting storyline to look at because I was told early on that Braves fans were happy about Matt Olson, the fact that he's a Georgia kid and that, okay, we replaced him, we got younger, right? No, Freddie Freeman is the future Hall of Famer. Olson, he's a bad dude. He's a bad man. I'm not mad at Olson at all, but the Dodgers, they're literally getting peak Freddie Freeman. Something that makes me feel good at night before I lay my head on my Dodgers pillowcase is knowing that if Freddie Freeman ever goes into the Hall of Fame as Atlanta Brave, well, guess what? His best years, his peak years for a full regular season was with the Dodgers. That's how good he's been with his team, and the numbers back that up.
Imagine him going in the Hall of Fame without a logo on his hat.
Could be a logoless guy. Yeah,
that would be tough. Make him a little
Rob
split
Lowe.
hat. I got a couple of comments here. Did you see the El Guapo?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Give me that one first.
Real quick. I'm gonna give you the super chat real quick by Mr. Grump once again. He gave us $2.
Is that Grumpy 45 Dino?
Even though Doug doesn't want to dance. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, he said the Dodgers gonna go yard 3 times on Strider.
Ooh. That's a bold take right there,
bold,
for sure. Who's going to be, though? Who's going to be? Muncy? Who you picking? I mean, let's ask. We'll follow that up.
Miggy Rowe, because why not?
It's always the last person you.
Fredward Freeman. Why not?
I can feel it, Freddie Bomb.
What else you got for us?
Got a couple in here. Got Alexander Rose saying, the way I see it, most valuable includes versatility, and Mookie is playing 3 positions, so Mookie for MVP. Sorry, Acuna. Very similar to what you said. I know there's a specific comment that you wanted. Do you have it on there for yourself?
Yeah, I had a couple here, and I'm actually going to make this a tandem Hornito shot. Doug, hold the bottle. Those are your Hornitos shot takers of the day. Please do drink responsibly, guys. Love Hornitos. You know, first thing I drink when I wake up. Nick Romero. Well, I wasn't going to read Nick's, but I saw Nick's first. I'm going to read it anyway. So we have 3 I'm going to do here. So 3 shot takers. Why not? Nick says, Braves are good, but Mookie and Freddie on a different planet. Bottom of the lineup also warming up. So that was a big thing for not just this Braves series, but that's for all of baseball, and that's for the Dodgers to be able to challenge for another 100-win season. Matthew Martinez says, we smoked the Braves in a series earlier in the season. We will win a series in the playoffs against them. So put it on the books. And Johnny Owen, going a little bit back, we were talking about Phillies, Cubs, Braves, or Giants, who to face. Johnny Owen says, let's not worry about the Giants. In the end, just like last year, they won a single game better than us. We smoked them in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it's always the Dodgers versus the Dodgers, right? If they're playing up to their capabilities, you would bet on them versus any team in the sport. And yeah, to his point earlier, too, the Dodgers, they took 2 out of 3 from the Braves back in May. If it weren't for that Albies walk-off sack fly, where that was, right, they could have swept them, and it was a bright spot was Bobby Miller in that series. So yeah, I mean, the Dodgers have had success against this Braves team. When you look at that now, the keys to this series, I think we're talking about Freddie Freeman. I'm looking for Freddie to have a big series. He's going to be my player of the series. I think he's someone that always takes it personal, whether or not he wants to admit it. His eyes get very wide when you look at all of the drama between Freddie and that organization in the past, and the tears that were shed, and all these Braves fans, they like to claim, oh, if Freddie would have gotten the right contract, he would have signed with them and this and that. But no, Freddie Freeman is a Dodger. I think he's happy in Dodger blue. And most importantly, he's owned his former team. He's slashing 361, 465, 667 with 3 bombs, 2 doubles, 7 RBIs, 8 runs scored, and 7 walks in 9 games against the Bravos. So he's going to be my player of the series. And he's had a hit in every single game except 1 against the Braves in 9. So look for Freddie to have a big series.
Freddie do what Freddie do, and that is hit the ball quite well. Trying to buy myself time because I had a comment and then I lost the comment, so I apologize for killing it. But I got jammed. Says 500 viewers on a Thursday afternoon. Let's go. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Let's get to 300 likes.
Make sure you guys.
If you want a shoey,
hit that like.
Got 400 likes.
Doug would do a shoey for 400 likes, everybody.
It's like Chuck E. Cheese. You got the tickets.
No, it's no end of month special. Maybe like 250. 250 likes.
I'll do 350.
350. You guys heard it. Get it
did I just negotiate? Yeah. I mean, we've seen some people in the chat.
It'll be a Hornito shoey too, so I won't be able to drive home till like 11:30. But
Doug is not an easy man to negotiate.
Yeah, hey, I do it for the channel, but yeah, I think the biggest key of the series from the Dodgers end, though, is how do you stop this Braves lineup? Because this Braves lineup, they're historically explosive. And the Dodgers, they're right up there. In most categories, you're 1 and 2 with this Braves team. Home runs, OPS, slugging percentage, on-base percentage, weighted runs created plus. This team, they're phenomenal. I mean, they're going to be the first team to slug 500. They're on pace for 307 home runs. That would tie the 2019 Twins. Like I said, 7 players with 20 home runs. No other team this year has more than 4. And that's what makes this lineup so difficult to navigate, is because you have depth. You got guys from the top of the lineup to the bottom of the lineup. They can leave the yard. They can hit for power, and that's what makes them so dangerous. They can just beat you in every single phase of the game offensively, and that's what makes it so difficult. And you look at their right-handed batters, you got Acuna, Riley, Ozuna. Lefties, you got Olsen, Rosario, Michael Harris, and then Ozzy Albies. He's their switch hitter. So that, to me, is going to be the number one thing I'm looking at is, can this Dodgers pitching, where you don't get Kershaw, right? They are going to avoid Kershaw, but you got Lance Lynn. And Lance Lynn is going tonight against Spencer Strider. To me, this is the most interesting matchup because Lance Lynn, he has been the best deadline acquisition of any starter. You look at that ERA since August 1st. I mean, right over 2. This is someone who has been one of the best pitchers in the sport when it comes to overall production. And I think this is a big test for him. I think he's going to go out there, miss bats, be competitive, go deep into games. The big key, though, is a guy who leads the league in home runs served up going up against this team that's the most prolific home run hitting team in the sport. That is a collision course. And that's going to be my number one thing. I mean, when you look at that matchup right there, how do you feel about Lance Lynn, Clint?
I mean, it's definitely not the most ideal matchup in the series, but he's pitched well at Dodger Stadium. We know he's another guy who got burned by the Green Monster.
The Monster.
In Boston. So you hate to see that. But both lineups are good, and I would argue, even though the Braves have more pop, I would almost argue stupidly and inaccurately the Dodgers have a little more pop because theirs has more grit to it,
more grit, right?
More gritty pop,
little engine that could Dodgers out
one
there,
of my
favorite
rappers, Gritty Pop,
Gritty Pop.
By the way, I found
Gritty
it.
Pop.
It was Grumpy 45 Dino followed up saying Muncy, Hayward, Smith. Those are the three going deep off of.
Muncy, Hayward, Smith. I like that. I like a big game for Smitty, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I like that group right there. I mean, Spencer Strider, this is one of the better pitchers in the league, a 3.46 ERA going up against Lance Lynn. If you get 3 bombs tonight against this team, I'm feeling confident about my chances. But, yeah, I think for me, another thing I'm looking at, another big key to the series, another thing that makes this Braves team so dangerous is their 7, 8, 9 hitters. I mean, who wins that battle at the bottom of the lineup? Because I think we know what we're going to get from the top. You got Freddie, you got Mookie, you got Smith, you got Muncy. I think we can count on those guys having their fair share of big hits, but it's the bottom of the lineup against better pitching, and that's what makes the bottom of the lineup for the Braves so good. When it comes to batting average, slugging, OPS, they're the best in the league from their 7, 8, 9 hitters. So can you navigate that? There's really nowhere to breathe when you're going to go against this Braves lineup. So I'm looking at Lance Lynn. This is a major test for him. Julio Urias tomorrow going up against Max Fried, who's missed time this year due to injury, but he's looked good in his return. Julio Urias, I think this would put the final stamp on his I'm back. If you can go out there and give you 6 or 7 innings against this Braves team. And I will say we didn't touch too much on Ryan Yarbrough, but he goes 4 innings yesterday, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be a fresh bullpen, especially look at the night before. They didn't go with any of their high leverage arms. So I think that's another thing that is in the Dodgers' favor. And then they get Bryce Elder back for the Saturday game. We'll see who goes in that one. Will it be a Emmett Sheehan, Michael Grove? I mean, they haven't announced yet. And then, of course, Sunday, it's going to be Bobby Ice.
Yeah,
Miller time.
You can't really. I don't care about sweeping the series. Yeah, that'd be real nice, but I don't think the Doyers should throw everything plus the kitchen sink at them to try to win this series. Pocket a few. Have a few pocket aces up your sleeve, which I don't know why you would both pocket them or and have them up your sleeve at the same time. I'm pretty sure that's cheating in poker, but still, pocket a few tricks up your sleeve is what I'll say. Again, for some reason, don't let them know everything you got.
Look, I mean, this is still a Dodgers team that
crushed that take.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a great take because I mean,
cut it off.
Look, you look at what this team is going for, and yeah, I mean, you're not going to take too much away from this series. I think you brought up a good point earlier in that, the morning shows will run with the narrative if the Braves dominate, if the Dodgers dominate. But look, realistically, you're probably going to get 2-2, right? You're probably going to get 3 out of 4, maybe.
That would be fun.
And that would be fine. I mean, you'd be okay with that result when you consider how good these two teams are. But I think the Dodgers, they have an opportunity where, think about this. Heading into next week, they could be 1 game behind the Braves if everything goes right. I mean, you're talking about a team that with less than 30 games to play could finish with not just the best record in the National League, the best record in the sport. No one was predicting that before this season, the Dodgers would finish with the best record, and that's something that's at stake in this series. Now, Clint, the Braves do have a weakness, though, and if the weakness if you talk to people that follow the Braves closely, they'll tell you that if there's one thing that keeps them up when they wake up at 3:30 in the morning in a cold sweat and having a nightmare, it's that middle relief. And their middle relief, they're not high velocity guys. If you look at their bullpen, they have a 4.24 ERA before the 7th inning. That's 16th in Major League Baseball. And then from the 7th inning on, they have a 3.14 ERA. So if you can get to that middle relief right there and do damage, avoid the best part of their bullpen, their high leverage guys, you have a good chance to score some runs. And really, look in the past, I mean, this Dodgers team, they've had success going up against high leverage relievers this season. So, yeah, I mean, hard throwing bullpens, that definitely is something that is going to be a big factor. Who has the edge there?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the series, it should edge towards the Braves, but that's fine. You know, let media run with that. Let the national think that the Braves better or whatever. Again, this season was supposed to be the underdog season, but I like the Dodger bullpen. I've seen them more, so that makes me like them more than the Braves bullpen. Who's even closing for the Braves these days? Is it the guy with the face?
Yeah, I think their leader right now is. I'll show you right now.
Do they have like a legitimate closer there? Oh, it's Raisel Iglesias. That's right.
Yeah, it's Iglesias. Yeah,
they pulled him from the Angels in the offseason or whenever it was. So I think that's a guy that the Dodgers can handle. That's not. I would take Evan Phillips in a ninth inning role over that guy. They've had success against AJ Minter, Kirby Yates. They've had success against in the past. And really everybody in that rotation, particularly Morton and Fried, they've had varying levels of success. The Dodgers have. So you feel pretty good about that series. But again, you want to just let the series play out and don't get too caught up in the numbers. You know, I would almost be okay if the Dodgers lost 3 of 4, just so all the media can just kind of go away. You know, but that also might hurt the MVP cases of Mookie and or Freddie. So.
Yeah, no, I mean it's interesting. You look at their bullpen. You got Minter, 10 saves. Iglesias, like you mentioned, 26. You got Yates. You got Jimenez. I mean, they definitely have some arms, but it's very interesting that the Braves bullpen, they ranked 28th in number of pitches, 96 miles per hour or more. And what happened to the Dodgers last year in the NLDS? Why did they struggle? Why weren't they able to come through in big spots? They were overpowered by high velocity fastballs, right? So that's why I'm confident in this Dodgers lineup versus this Braves team because of their approach. They're not going to see them expanding the zone. They're going to try to wear them down. A little death by paper cuts action, right? Kind of dink and dunk them and kind of get that pitch count up, and then you explode on them. So I think that'll be the approach, and they'll commit to it, and that's why I feel confident. Now, as far as the overall takeaway, like, to your point, I mean, if you lose 3 out of 4, yeah, I wouldn't be heartbroken by this, but I do think that it would feel coming off the August that they've had, which has been historically great. Let's just be honest. I mean, this is
insane.
This is incredible what this team has done. I mean, last 4 seasons, the Dodgers in August, 88-23, a 793 win percentage. That's the best in a single month over 4 seasons in baseball history. Okay, so you look at that dominance. You almost wish that the World Series was played in August. The Dodgers would have a dynasty by now, but yeah, I think that with what this team is going through and what they're playing for, I think they still want to prove to themselves that, yeah, they can compete with the Braves. They are still the class of the National League, and I think that this series would do a lot for the Dodgers kind of heading into the postseason because I still think that wound from last year is a little fresh, and I still think that as we get closer to the postseason, you're going to start to see, okay, is the pressure going to mount? Do we want to avoid what happened last year? And I think that this team that has that magic with these veterans, with Mookie and Freddie, the way they're playing like they are, I think you just want to continue this hot streak.
Keep it going. Keep it running. Noel, what you got over there on the chat? I know we got some folks going off.
Shout out.
Appreciate you guys, by the way.
Donated $5.
Let's go.
$5 to the Bugs.
Over here. You know the vibes. Dance Doug.
Oh, yeah. You'd have to be on the center cam to make the little graphic go. So you're good.
Gotta let the rest of the comments flow in, but he said the Braves are great, but Braves fans gloating too much. Similar to Padres fans, or no? What do you guys think about that?
I mean, they have a reason to more than the Padres. They have some
Braves
World Series
fans.
championships in that trophy case. So, yeah, I mean, look, they have every right to be confident. I mean, this team, like I said, guys, like be ready because I know that the Dodgers, they had their way with them back in May, but this offense, I'm telling you, they are literally historically good. I mean, the Murderers Row Yankees in 1927, they had a slugging percentage of .488. This Braves team, they're at .500. Okay, when you talk about how potent they are from top to bottom, it's going to be very difficult to navigate. As far as Braves fans, I don't know. I mean, I think Braves fans are I mean, look, they won a World Series a few years ago. They've had a lot of success. I do think that I look at Alex Anthopoulos versus Andrew Friedman. I look at both these organizations kind of comparing themselves to each other, and you're really seeing two of the best teams in the sport squaring off. So it's still, at the end of the day, though, it's a regular season series. It counts as one game. It's not this big showdown. It's like you're getting drunk on non-alcoholic beer, right? Okay, it's not the real deal like we're going to see in the postseason, right? In the postseason, that's when we, crank it all the way up, and it's live or die through Dodger baseball. But right now, it's a pretty solid measuring stick. And I think if there was no MVP plot here, that it wouldn't be as significant.
Let's say this one goes to 11.
So
This one goes to
exactly.
11. What you got?
Exactly. This goes 11.
Give me some more.
D-Mac, I didn't know you had a son. D-Mac's son just popped in the chat and said, "I love you, Dad."
D-Mac, oh my goodness.
Okay,
Hey,
I've
the
got like
check
five. I got like $5 in that being Noah.
The
to
check
be
is in
honest.
the mail. They want child support. The check is in the mail.
But
Yeah.
also,
The check
there was a great little conversation between Noel and another commenter. He said, "Lynn is a good innings eater, stays hungry."
That's yeah.
And then he also got a response from I Got Jams. He said, "Lynn is always the first and the last in line at the buffet table."
Oh, that's a fat
That's
joke.
facts.
Linsanity.
There's also a great one. Noise by Noel says the Dodgers. That's a great one. But I also loved CCM for short. Says if you want the dub, you have to win the game.
That is perfect. If you want the dub, you have to finish
Doug,
with one.
you should get that tattooed on your back.
If you want the dub, you have to finish with one more run than the opponent.
Get
Facts,
more
facts.
points than the other
T-shirt,
guy.
maybe?
What else you got?
Also, Jesse Flores said, "Yo, what's the bets you guys are looking at for this game and this series in general? Any side bets?" Unfortunately, Noah is not here today to do his betting show, but he will be back very soon. Need to Noah.
We'll have it back on Monday.
Yeah,
Not Monday. We won't be here on Monday. We won't do a show on Monday because of the whole Labor Day. So we will be back on Tuesday. Gang.
Yes, and then we also got
Gang.
we got a couple
Sorry.
more comments to get into here. All around, Lacey said, "Bro, I don't know why I'm nervous. My team is not even playing in the series." Mitchell Hopkins said, "D-Mac, I love the video on Barreled Up podcast." Do you do a Barreled-
Yeah, my man.
Yeah, and then
Which one is that?
Brian
That one
Gomez-
guy I was telling you about.
The
Jim
Braves
Riley?
one?
Yeah.
He got so many at this point, we don't know.
Yeah. Doug is the master of all media. You know.
It's tripping.
Brian
He's
Gomez
a-
said, "We gonna see best
Wilding.
friends Freddie and Jay Hay doing home runs this weekend." And then Alexander Rose said, "Riot, no show on Monday. We'll be back very soon for that."
Sorry. Doug, isn't it true that that Howard Stern reached out to you for your autograph?
He did, yeah. I mean, I just sent it in the mail with the check that I'm sending my son, apparently. But yeah.
He forgot to put a stamp on it. He had a 33-cent stamp from 2004, and they don't honor those anymore. Hey,
From
that's
way back in the day. But
that's like Tonight Show humor right there. You know, bad is what I'm saying.
Those were the days.
I.E. Doyer says Braves aren't untouchable. The boys already beat them in their own park earlier. That'll be the blueprint to beat them again. What I do like about the series, before we wrap it up and move on, both teams are just about as healthy as they can be. The Dodgers are missing essentially one reliever with Joe Kelly. Ryan Pepiot wouldn't play a part in the series, who was just optioned, but and he probably won't play much of a part in the postseason. But for the greater part, both these teams are essentially fully healthy, as healthy as they're going to get at this point in the season.
Exactly. So you're seeing two rosters that are at full strength, going toe-to-toe, and it's going to be huge. And I think, it really comes down to how about the return of Kevin Pillar, too? Do you think they're going to do a big video montage for Pillar?
Pillar, bro.
Kevin Pillar, bro, back in the mix.
Did you see the Max Scherzer?
Yeah.
They actually did a tribute video to his ass.
That
and
was-
he got booed.
He got booed, man. Hey.
Mets wilding. Now they're firing people. It's a good
Every time he
time.
leaves a place, they don't like him.
Remember when everybody thought
Yeah.
that Stephen Cohen was like Jesus?
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
You can't buy yourself a World Series, man. He learned the hard way. At least he learned earlier than some other organizations, I will say that. But, yeah, no, you're right. I mean, getting back to your comment on just
Real
the
quick,
overall
mash
health.
that thumbs up for
Yeah.
Doug's son.
My son, man, jeez.
My son.
Oh, my goodness. Sister.
What?
No.
Doug, we're live. He's lost. He's
Yeah.
gone. He gone.
But, yeah, I mean, do you think that...
It's your boy.
Yeah, and I look at this series, too. I mean, you look at Freddie Freeman, you look at Jason Hayward. I think Jason Hayward is someone that, yeah, I mean, he's looking to go out there and continue it on his success. So that really is the big key. James Outman, just the rest of this lineup really from top to bottom, just continuing to thrive. And I think, too, overall, Rosario, he's been balling for them, and he's going to bring up bad memories, and we know that. But, yeah, I mean, when you look at this Braves rivalry, I mean, do you consider a rivalry? Because I personally do.
It's there. I mean, it's definitely there. This is the winner take all sort of guess button up to the trilogy.
Yeah,
I'm in the postseason if and when that happens, but we'll get to that in about a month and a half.
I will say I was at the 2013 game.
Oh yeah,
and with Juan Uribe, Game 4. We he didn't lay down the 2 bunts.
That was just.
Hits the bomb, and I still think Craig Kimbrell is still in the pen right now, pacing, waiting to get into that game. I have never seen. I wasn't at the Bellinger game in 2022 where he hit the
single up the middle.
Well, where he hit in 2022 against the Braves, where he hit the home run where they say it was shaking there in Game 3. But still, I think I've never seen Dodger Stadium that loud. I saw people hugging police officers and just doing crazy stuff, pouring beer all over the place. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. It was kind of really the resurgent Dodgers of that era, that time. And Juan Uribe is someone that is really just one of the great moments in Dodgers history, just throwing his arm up, throwing his hands up. And what a moment there. I would say that ranks right up there for me.
There he is.
And then, of course, Cody Bellinger, his game-winning home run there in the NLCS Game 7, which pretty much, I don't know, a very small amount of Dodgers fans were able to experience because of the whole COVID thing at the time and everything that happened with that. So it wasn't...
that was so weird. On the Uribe thing, that was by far the greatest game I've ever watched with people in a bar. Strangers and a couple of friends, just a full bar of strangers. And the whole place shaking and freaking out over that big time salami. And I'm not talking about you know what. Yeah, I'm talking about that homer from Uribe.
Still gives you goosebumps, man. The earth was shaking. The left field pavilion was rocking. We haven't seen anything quite like that again. That's what I'm hoping. That's why I want home field advantage, so you can get big key games at Dodger Stadium, because we see the effect that that crowd can have on the pitchers, on the players, and yeah, just a great moment. So yeah, I do think that this is one of the rivalries that doesn't really get talked about quite enough. I mean, to me, I consider the Braves more of a rival than the haven't done anything Padres, right? I mean, the Angels isn't a rivalry, right? I mean, the Giants, the Cardinals, the Braves. Hey, I only compare my team to the teams that are going after the same thing, that are in this mix for the same end game, and really the Padres, they're just not after that, right? So
hey, mash that thumbs up button if the Padres aren't a rival. Let's go.
I like that.
All right, let's get the hell out of here, because we were talking about the same thing 19 different times for about 45 minutes. September call-up, September 1 is here when you're listening to this tomorrow. And it feels like it's going to be a boring slate of call-ups because we've essentially already seen them. I did not anticipate the team to make the move today to activate Shelby Miller and send Pepio down, but Pep's going to be back in about 4 days.
Yeah, he'll be back, and clearly the way that Dave Roberts has been talking about him, it feels like
somebody will be injured.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, of course. The Dodgers, they do that better than any organization in baseball, knowing how to work that. But yeah, Pepio, of course, is going to get that opportunity like we talked about and continue to build on his success. And then we'll see what happens with Michael Busch. I mean, Michael Busch, I'm still waiting to see Michael Busch truly realize his potential. I mean, if you look at since he's returned in early August, he has a 445 OPS, did hit his first home run, goes 2 for 19 at the plate so far. And yeah, with JD Martinez set to return for the team's next road trip, I think my takeaway from that is, yeah, I'd rather see Michael Busch get more full-time reps at the DH spot, because I've been told that he's this great MLB hitter, right? That he's someone that is going to be able to hit at the big league level. And I just want to say, okay, fine, let's get defense out of the picture, right? Let's not have you play first or left field like you're playing at the minor league level. Play third. Let's have you focus on hitting to see if you truly can be a guy that can hit 285 with some pop, some extra base hits. Because I think right now, like I said, an older prospect like that, at some point you kind of have to assess and evaluate and see what you have in him.
Yeah, no, and you also have to see what you have in him. The league has to see what you have in him for if and when he gets traded this offseason. If there's a move that makes sense. If
Sounds like a Cardinal. Busch Stadium, I'm just saying.
Yeah, Nolan.
Nolan, there you go.
Bringing home Nolan. I still think Nolan happens this offseason. Yeah, Bush, I don't know if I assume Bush will hang around and essentially be the call-up, even though he's already here, and JD will kind of act sort of as a call-up in a way because he'll be activated. Do you think we see in that, I guess, 3-game, if the plan is JD coming back on the roadie, they're going to need to fill that other spot for a little bit. Do you think we see Miggy Vargas again?
Look, if he has only one fan, that person is me. If he has no fans, that means I'm dead. I would love to see Miguel Vargas back with the Dodgers. Will it happen? I think it's possibly unlikely, but I don't know if you've seen any of his highlights at the minor league level. He looks like a different guy already.
Yeah.
I mean, the compact stance, the way that you're not seeing that
down a little bit,
slowed down. The game is slowed down.
No,
I
I
think
mean, his production slowed down a
his
little bit.
production has, but I do still think that, he's hitting just under 900 OPS, right? But as far as quality of contact, it's improved. You're not seeing him let go of the bat with the top hand like he was, looking very Manny Machado-esque. I think that he's kind of getting back to his roots at the plate. I do think that you always have to consider the disparity as far as the big league level versus the AAA level right now. It's as significant and wide of a gap as it's been in years. So, yeah, it's like playing on rookie mode in Madden versus all Madden mode, right? It's a very wide gap. So I don't think that's necessarily an indicator of success, right? I mean, look at Michael Busch. This guy's OPSing over 1,000, hitting tons of home runs, and he's not having the same success so far, and very limited opportunities at the big league level. But I would like to see Miguel Vargas in there, but I think the thing that hurts him is the trade deadline acquisitions. You traded for Kike Hernandez. You traded for Ahmed Rosario. Yeah. So with the depth they have right now, I just don't anticipate it. Would I love to see it? I would, though.
Maybe a Yanni Hernandez then, potentially, because they're going to need a guy.
Yeah, they're going to need a guy.
For just a couple of days.
I think for those couple of days, yes. Yeah. I don't think you'll see it like full long term, though.
Yeah,
I think he's definitely the guy who's in the pecking order to go up, though. And he's done enough down there to justify giving him an opportunity, because he was the guy that came up last year, right? And the big difference was his quality of contact numbers were impressive, even though the results weren't there. So I think if you could get Miguel Vargas up and get him to feel good about something heading into the offseason, I think that would be huge and a big boost of confidence for him. And I think that this organization is still very committed to him because of his age, because of his potential and his hit tool. And I think that I don't anticipate them moving off of him unless there is going to be a trade where he's an absolute deal breaker for someone they think could be a game changer. So I still think, he's training in the right direction. He's figured some things out. And I think that his stock is definitely still something that I would never sell.
Dodgers, Braves, 4 games in LA. The final preview before October. Do you have your series prediction? You going 2-2?
I'm going to go 3 out of 4. Let's go 3 out of 4.
Dodgers taking 3?
No, Braves. No, I'm good. No, you know what? Let's go Dodgers 3 out of 4. They take tonight.
Okay. You're saying that on camera as DMac_LA, but what's the real?
The real me is, look, I think that this is a team that...
real me is exposition.
From a starting position, look, the thing about their rotations, very top-heavy, right? And you're seeing Fried, who's been really good, Strider, and you got Morton, who's had success against this team, but I think...
dude really wanted to talk Braves today, boys.
Yeah, so look, I mean, I still think I got the Dodgers taking 3 out of 4 because I think that this team's rolling, man. This team is hot right now, and they want to continue that momentum. They know what's on the line. It's also going to be a sold-out electric environment at Dodger Stadium. It's going to be a very postseason-like atmosphere, and I think that that's going to provide a boost of energy to this team. So give me 3 out of 4 for the Dodgers. I almost want to say sweep, but yeah, I'm not going to.
I mean, it's hard to sweep when you don't know who's starting on.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's
Saturday,
holding me back.
But that's going to be a sellout because Austin Barnes bobblehead night.
Yeah, I know.
2 years in a row, in late or September-ish, Austin Barnes bobblehead nights. I'm torn between 2-2 and 3-1. But you know what? I'm gonna be that idiot. I'm gonna channel, because that fool Neil's here. I'm gonna channel the white pill, and I'm going sweep. Let's Dodgers sweep it up, keep it going, sweep a perfect homestand for your boys in blue.
Sweeping the Braves, that would be a major statement.
Sweeping the Bravos.
Give me the Braves the ATL, baby. I would love to see that.
Anyways, that's about it, guys.
Thought this was the first half of the show.
Let's do the.
That's the first half of the show.
No.
Hold on, we got Grunt
First
back
third
in the
of the
mix.
show.
$2 more.
Oh man! Oh crap! I almost got out of here.
He said, "I'll take Dodgers getting swept, but NLCS win."
Hold on, hit the button.
My bad.
So I don't know
I don't know either. That's the thing.
Okay. But yeah, Grump said, I'll take Dodgers getting swept, but NLCS win.
I would definitely take that as well.
I mean, it's no bearing, right? I mean, look at the Dodgers getting owned by the Mets in 1988, only to beat them in the NLCS. So
D-Mac's
yeah.
father.
Yeah, D-Mac's father is here. Your son,
Dodgers
your
must
father,
sweep
everybody.
the
Really, my whole
Son,
family. It's
yo.
a family affair. It's like Chris Taylor the other night. Maybe I'll have a good night at the plate. Yeah. Hey, Dodgers went 1-9. They went 1-9 against the Mets in 1988, and would go on to win the World Series.
Hey,
So
good,
yeah,
good quick
whatever
question
happens.
here from Victor. I think it'll be tough to pull off, but do you think the Dodgers are going to call up Colton Wong?
I mean, I did
guy
a
they
video on the
signed.
other day. He's performed really well. Just hit his first home run the other day. I think it's definitely something that's possible. We kind of joked about that early in the show. I mean, look, the only issue is, like I said, lots of depth at that position. Feels like they have tons of second basemen now. But yeah, I mean, you brought him in for a reason, right? So he's someone that has played very well in this league during certain stints. But yeah, I think that pecking order wise, it'd be tough for him to overcome it. But I wouldn't be totally shocked.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't be totally shocked. You got to figure out some roster.
Yeah.
Some roster moves for sure. Joe Mama says
Wouldn't
the
be a
Dodgers
Wong
gonna
move.
take
Sorry.
Joe Mama. Talking to Joe Mama right now. Joe Mama says the Dodgers going to take 3 of 4. Conservative Zach not going conservative at all. He got a 3 of 4 as well. Michael Hopkins got a split. We got double sweep here. So we got a sweep from Robert Wilson and from I.E. Doyer. Roy Estrada says, I want to sweep, but I'll take 3-1 because Julio is pitching tomorrow. Oof. Oof. We got a little bit of.
It's so weird to see so many people talking about my dad, the Doug father.
Swollen
I mean,
Sausage just got here just in time for us to leave. And Rick Prada says, nice day in Southern California to beat LA. Go Braves. So that's how we're going to end it with one Braves fan. And that's usually we
Dodgers
get when these two teams match up, we get a lot more Braves fans in here. So y'all are slipping. It's like this doesn't mean anything to you. God. Guys, thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you so much for the comments and the super chats and the thumbs up. Give us another thumbs up if you want Doug to be reunited with his dad here on YouTube or something like that.
Doug McCain Sr. Shout out.
Is that true?
Yeah, my dad's name is also Doug McCain.
Oh, wow. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, guys.
Crazy.
Find us on the internet at DodgersNation.com. Also find us on the internet at InsideTheDodgers.com. We have all of your Dodgers information and stuff there to keep you in the loop about stuff. So do that. Subscribe to YouTube.com/DodgersNationTV. When we get to 70,000 subs, we're giving away a Mookie Betts jersey. So that's cool. We're trying to do that before the postseason. We're really close. You guys have been great. Slow down a little bit. So let's pick it back up or else Doug is going to get whipped. I am Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram. That is DMAC_LA on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you to That Fool Neil. We got a Noise by Noel running the board, Twitter and Instagram. You're on. It's also Twitter, the same. Yeah, at Noise by Noel. Running the board today. We are Dodgers Nation on Instagram, on Twitter. Thank you for the comments again, questions, all that kind of stuff. And we will see you on Tuesday. Bye.